This morning I got a little triggered and I was like, oh, great. If we're going to record a video, why don't we just talk about what I got triggered about? Right. And for me, a constant theme in my life and what I'm learning and leaning into is learning to ask for help. And I think it ties into our other video about boundaries because it's like, okay, how do you set these boundaries without being vulnerable and asking people in your life to help you achieve those boundaries? Hey everybody, welcome back to the WTF series on the Clarity Through Chaos YouTube channel. I'm your host, Fiona. If you're new here, this channel is all about helping you transform your relationship with yourself. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications. We'd love to connect with you. We'll see you at the end of the video. How are you? Like, do you find that asking for help comes easy?
No, I am an Aries rising, honey. No, I don't feel inclined ever to ask for help. And not because I think it's wrong or bad, but like I'm also incredibly impatient. So it's like, okay, let me just do it because you're gonna drive me crazy in the process of. But what triggered you today? I want to go from there. What was like the trigger?
I mean, I don't even know. So I had this really intense healing session yesterday. Okay. Like
I love
my
healing.
girl spent like 4 hours with me. We did a bunch of tapping and Reiki and just like really got into like the nitty gritty, a whole bunch of stuff. So sometimes when I do things like that, I find that I'm very quick to anger, if that makes sense. Like I don't cry easily, but I just get like pissed. And I woke up and I'm like, the baby has a bad rash. So I was like taking care of that and she's fussy. And then like I come downstairs and I'm like, okay, well, you're hungry. So where's your high chair? And I'm walking around the house. I can't find a high chair. Now, a high chair is not like a little thing, it's
Yeah.
big, it's a chair.
Yeah.
I'm like walking around the house and I'm like, I've lost my mind. That's what happened. Like, how do you not find a high chair? So finally I remember like, oh, yesterday was nice out. They probably were outside while I was at this healing session. And sure enough, the high chair is outside. Not a big deal, right? Just grab the high chair, wipe it down, whatever. And then I like go to sit down at my desk because I like to journal while she's having her breakfast. And I sit down and there's just like shit all over the desk. And I'm like, okay, I'll just journal somewhere else. Not a big deal. Journaling. And I'm like, I'm so pissed. Like it wasn't anything
Oh my
like
God.
major that happened, right? So I was like, okay, during my journal, then I asked my husband, I was like, honey, do you mind cleaning off the desk and cleaning up the stuff that was on the porch, whatever. And he was like, yeah, no problem. That's me coming a long way. Because in the past, I would have been pissed. I was pissed, but I would have reacted, right? I would have yelled at people. Like I would have started yelling at the kids and yelling at John, like tornado. Like everyone in my path is going to get in trouble because I'm so angry because the house looks crazy and I can't find the damn high chair. So that's like me working on it. And yeah, that's where we're at today.
And so the whole thing around the asking for help, it's like you were pissed. A part of you wanted to go find and do your own thing. And then you were like, but I just need some help right now. So can you do this for me instead? How do I say this? I like people doing things for me. Acts of service, like do for me. Like I love,
But
like
do you
when
like to ask or do you like it when the other person just takes initiative and does it?
I want them to take initiative and do it because I
Mm.
just like that, like what is what
You
like
want people to read your mind.
yeah, but you
Mm.
know what? I
Right.
actually, it's so funny. But here's a weird thing with me is that I don't necessarily even have like I want you to go do this kind of a thing. Why aren't you doing it? Or are you going to do it? If I see it in action, I actually love it. I mean, I just had this situation yesterday with George talking about being pissed. I was like, we said we're going to go on vacation in May. Why are we going on vacation in May? He's like, we're trying to save for,
I thought
play
you guys went. Didn't you go somewhere?
went to Lake Geneva for 3 days, which is like all really nice and sweet. Like Lake Geneva is like in Wisconsin. It's like it's beautiful, like it's great. And he planned it, and it was such a nice thing because he kind of made it himself, and that was
Mm.
great. We had already been talking about doing something in May, which was fine. At first it was April, then we moved it to May, and asking for help is hard for me because when I have an idea or something I want to do, I'm just like, it's Tia's way and we're going to get it done. Like, that's just how I
Mm.
am. I'm not even like bossy, or I don't even think like I'm very high maintenance. I really just feel like if I want to do something, I just do it. But now being in a partnership, and probably you feel the same way, having like a family and having other parts, in there, it's hard. I don't even know if it's an asking for help situation or if it's really like just understanding that you're being triggered by your own self and by the people around you. Like that's what I really feel like it is. And then you're just kind of like, can you just help me while I'm struggling? Like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of more of what I got when you were talking to me. Like I'm just already aggravated. I don't know why. And then you're just annoying. John, can you go do something for me? That's how I feel. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, in the past, I wouldn't have asked. In the past, I would have just been frustrated and then done all the things myself.
oh,
Been
okay.
pissed, cleaned the porch, cleaned off the desk, cleaned whatever else I was going to clean, and then just been pissed the whole rest of the day because he couldn't read my mind and know that I wanted him to clean those things. Like it's so self-sabotaging, right?
It's like so like self-aggravating. Like, why don't you just tell him to do it? Like, I'm just like,
Well,
then I
now I do. And that's where I've come. That's like old Fiona meet new Fiona. And, we've bridged the gap. What I've realized in bridging that gap, it was so hard for me because it was very a vulnerable thing for me to do, if that makes sense. Like growing up, it didn't come that easy. Like, we were kind of all, it was like you do your own shit. You don't like ask, I don't know how to even describe it, but it was something that was really hard. Like, it was like, okay, well, if you ask for help, there's a chance that that person's going to say no, and that no could feel like rejection, or it could feel like they don't care for you or whatever. Like your mind tells it's this whole story.
it's hard because I think that has maybe something to do with the fact that you're a Libra. And I
Maybe.
I say that because I feel like so the shadow side of Libras can be people pleasing. So like let me just not frustrate you, so I'll frustrate myself. Or let me not like bother the situation. Let me just like be agreeable and be like okay with things. And like you said, like in our last interview, I think you were like, no, like sometimes you're just like, no, I get angry, I get upset at things. Like I want, you to understand that. I think that that may be something that you worked through. Me, it's never been asking for help as an issue. In fact, I've probably told more, like I do stuff myself, but if I don't want to do it, I will tell people,
Mm,
which it creates a bossiness in me. It's not so much, and then I just become demanding, and I don't like that side of me.
mm,
So I never know how to ask for help. For me, it's just more like, I want this, I see this, let's do this. So if
right.
you don't want this or see this or do this, get out of my way. So it's never like, can you help me? And I think that I do probably have some hesitation on asking for help, but I don't know. I've never been in a situation where I felt like I needed to, besides like maybe asking my parents, like if I needed something specifically. I don't know. Even then, like when I was a kid, where people were like, oh, my mom helped me with my homework. I'm like, what? Can't you just do it yourself? So I just like, and I'm not saying it's the right thing. It really probably wasn't, but I was always really uninterested in other people, maybe in my energy, my zone, my whatever. I just wanted to do whatever I want to do and do it my
Mm.
way. I don't know. It's not good. It's not a good thing. It just is. I
Right.
don't know.
And that's why I
Like,
was like, we should talk about this because I think it's more often than not the case. And I also think, like you're running a business. How do you get to the place that you want to be if you can't ask for help?
yeah, that delegation element is where the asking for help happens for me. And I'm actually learning that who and how to ask for help. You know what I mean? Because I
Yeah.
also feel like I'm myself anyway. Like I just in my head, I'm like, I don't know if it's because I'm aligned to in human design where I feel like I have a lot of naturalness where it's like, okay, like I can do this, like stop. Like but
Right.
you're right. Actually, yesterday I recorded a little like a podcast blurb, like my little thing that I want to start doing, which is like just talking into the microphone just to
Yeah.
like get whatever idea out. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this thing, but like I want to edit it. And I'm like, oh, I could do it. And I'm like, I'll have somebody else do it. And it's just like, I go back and forth because it's not so much I don't want to ask for help. It's that I'm hard on myself because I know that I can do stuff. Why can't I just do it? Why? And I don't know if it's just my Aries rising. I also have my Taurus sun in the first house. So like everything is that Aryan energy for me where it's like, just go do it. Like if you want to do it, do it. What are you waiting for? And then I get hard on myself. So it's not so much the asking for help is my hard thing. It's more of like, well, why can't you just do it? I'm more self internal directed, not
Mm.
external directed. Like, why
That's
can't you just do it?
interesting.
You know what I
See,
mean?
I'm
Like,
the opposite where I'm like, well, if I just do it, then it'll get done faster. It'll get done on my timeline. It'll get done the way I want it done. I won't have to ask somebody to fix something or do something different. It's like me trying to control every single part of every single thing. And it holds me back because I can't do it all.
see, it's funny. See, you'd think I would feel like you saying the control aspect would be why people think I would want to do it on my own. It's not even the control. I actually want to give it away. Like, I am the kind of person like, do this for me, please, because I don't want to handle it if I don't want to handle it. It's more that I'm just like,
You
don't be
feel like you
lazy, Tia.
should? Oh, it's your conditioning.
Yeah, don't be lazy, Tia. Come
Mm,
on, you can do it. I also just like have that like stubbornness inside of me. Like it's a hard. So even the asking for help thing, it doesn't even cross my mind. It's just more of like, Tia, this is your thing. You know how to do it. And in fact, Fiona, the person I do ask for the help the most is George,
mm.
and the person who tells me no the most is George. he's all in and he'll say, yes, I'll do this for you. But like he has his own boundaries. Like, you know what I mean? And not in a bad way. Like he's the 5'1". So like he's always used to getting projections on him of like, you can
Oh
do
my
this for me.
God, yeah.
You're my savior. You're my come on. And like yesterday
Yeah.
he like stood up and like pouted at me. He's like, I am not gonna do whatever you want me to do. And I'm like, I don't want what? I was like, am I not worth it? Like in my head, it goes straight to the other direction. I'm like, I am worthy of the help. What do you mean? Am I not worth it? I was like, you feel like I'll do this, which is messed up. And I don't recommend this to anybody. This is not living high vibe. I literally will go into, I see her boyfriend doing everything for her. I see that person doing that. And he's just like, you just want everything ready for you. And I do. I quite like that. Yes. And he's just like, so, like, I'm the opposite. I feel like you in this situation. Like, I'm kind of like, but why aren't you doing it for me? You know, and it's hard because I think I expect it from him because he's my partner. And I've had to learn the opposite of what you're doing, which is
Mm,
asking for help. I've had to learn that, like, one is appropriate and, like, my issues are not his issues. And I think I've always been catered to.
mm,
It's different. I always had assistance or help. And that's where I think I take it for granted. Like my parents, like they overdo for their people.
mm,
So like sometimes
yeah.
I've had to be like, oh, I can do this myself. I don't know. I think we've had a different experience maybe. Maybe you've been the one that everybody's reached out to and been like, I need you, I need you, I need you. So when you need something, you're just like, you feel weird about it, you know?
Yeah, or I just feel like I can do it by myself. And then, my past patterning was I would just do it by myself. I'd push through, I'd force it, I'd shove it into place, and then I'd be miserable, because I was just like spending all this energy and it wasn't always even stuff that I wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing if you're like, oh, I want to do this and it's exciting and I'm going to keep doing it and da da da. But it's like even the stuff I didn't want to do, I felt like I had to do and that I was always on me and I was always by myself. Like it took a lot of me getting vulnerable. Actually, the our podcast episode that you and I recorded and you read my cards, that was something that you had said. You were like, you need to be more vulnerable with John. And that was one of the things was like I just wasn't treating it like a partnership where it's like, okay, yeah, I can help you and do for you. But part of trusting somebody is allowing them to also help you as well.
Honestly, I don't remember the reading I had done for you, but I'm sure if it came out, it came out, right? Because I kind of go blank. But
Yeah.
I do see somebody who's such a strong person that the vulnerability aspect, especially knowing you now, is tough for you.
Mm,
And but it's tough for me, but it's different tough, I feel like, for us. And I don't know how to exactly word it, but like I feel like you have a hard time being vulnerable in the sense of like asking for the help and just being okay with that you asked for the help and that somebody else can handle it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like you don't have to do it all.
Yeah.
Whereas I am more sometimes I'm so vocal and so open about what I need and what I want. Cause again, like I always talk about what I need and what I want. Okay. I've always been like that since I was little. It's my issue is when I'm actually really needing something and then it doesn't happen, it makes me feel bitterness that I can't even explain to you. I always say what I want, but I don't, it's not like I'm always expecting other people to do what I want. Or at least
Right.
I don't think it is. All right, we have to ask George on this. I don't know. Maybe I am very demanding. I don't realize it. But like in general, like I'm just like I don't feel like what I want is out of like the reach and grasp of things. If I can give it to myself, I try. But if I want it from somebody else, like
Mm.
sometimes I just do. But here's where I wonder, like when you ask for help from somebody, do you feel like is it the fear of rejection primarily?
Mostly, yeah. That would be a big one. And then my perfectionism. Like I can be such a perfectionist and I have like in my mind how I want it to play out. So if it's not done, it's almost like what I'm learning now is how to ask for help and then just totally like kind of put my blinders on and be like, okay, well, if I handed that task over, I handed it over. I'm not going to sit here and micromanage because that's what I would do before. It's like I would ask for help and then it would give me more stress because I'm watching somebody do something and I'm like, oh my God, that's not how I wanted it done. And then I'd be like, okay, well, this isn't even helpful for me right now because I'm just as stressed as if I would have done it by myself.
I see you're reminding me so much of my sister. My sister is like
Mm,
this. And I think
mhm.
that's something she's had to work through a lot, but I don't think she's truly learned it. I think you are probably on a much better like path in regards to learning it. I have to think about this, Fiona. I have to explore this in my life now. Now you're making me think about it. Now I'm Do I not ask for help? Do I need to ask for more help? I think I do when it comes to my business stuff and to my like just work stuff in general, because I don't know if it's because I'm a projector and I'm amplifying everybody else's energy, but like when I'm in go mode, I'm like, we are going, go, 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 go. And then I'm like exhausted. I don't know. I almost just feel like who can do it better than me? I don't think anybody. Like with the stuff I'm good at, things that I thrive in, I want to thrive in that. I think for you, it's really knowing like when it's appropriate and to catch yourself if you're like not asking for help, but you feel like you really, really need to. Like that's the one thing. It's catching yourself. Because I do the opposite. For me, I have to learn what's my own stuff to handle. Because sometimes I put it on other people. I put it on George, especially in being a partnership. Like I just like want somebody else to do for me. And George makes it clear all the time. He's like, you just want things handed to you on a silver platter. And I'm like, that's right. Tell me more.
Yeah, I'm glad we're on the same page. All right, well, I think this is a good place to leave off. If you guys loved the video, which I hope you did, make sure to leave us a comment and let us know. Do you have trouble asking for help, or are you more like Tia and it comes easily? We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.